how do you overcome? Sometimes this has been for years. The path is already set. How do you overcome that?
Good question. So the Buddha says here, if the monks keeps thinking about ill will and abandoning the thinking of non-ill will, then his mind is going to bend towards ill will. So to answer the question, the Buddha says here, think the other way. With sensuality, think of renunciation. Instead of thinking about craving for ourselves, we can change it to have the desire to help others, to become less self-centered. You have to change the direction. Don't continue to take that path, but take the other path. So we reduce little by little. You can try to regrow that path with grass so it doesn't form a pattern anymore. But the Buddha is saying here is think the other way. For ill will, think about non-ill will. For harmfulness, think about harmlessness to counteract it. So we know that we have neurotic craving. Then we first should recognize that we have neurotic craving and that it is something we want to overcome. Right? We first have to recognize the issue and to want to overcome it. If you don't recognize that and you don't want to put in the efforts to overcome it, then you're not renunciating it. You're not moving away from it. In other words, you don't want to change. It's not that it's difficult, it's that do we want to change? Are we serious? And it's going to be difficult at first because, like you said, we already formed a pattern. But if we can cast rise in our heart, and when we have reverence for the Buddha, we say, empower me to overcome my weakness. Empower me so that I can gain the strength to overcome this weakness, and I want to. And of course, after you've done that, you're gonna likely to go back to your behavior, and that's okay because you have planted a different seed already. You are reducing its momentum already, and therefore, it's not like before. You have changed yourself. You have changed the intrinsic nature of yourself. You have changed the substance of yourself. You might not recognize it, but you have changed it. And what's going to happen is you start to change your subconsciousness, and it's going to appear maybe in your dreams. You're going to see that struggle. Before, you did not recognize the struggle. You were rolling downhill and you were going to hit the bottom. But now you can see the struggle. It starts to change your substance, your subconsciousness. And it could appear in your dreams, and you will, at first, will feel very uneasy. Right? I say, I'm doing this, but I know I'm not, I shouldn't be doing this. See, that struggle is good, it's healthy. Perhaps you may see in your dreams that you are struggling, trying to run uphill or something like that, where you can never get uphill. Or you're trying to run away from something, but you cannot run away from it. It may seem like a nightmare, but what's happening is you're changing your subconsciousness, and it's starting to surface. You're starting to recognize the ugliness of the issue, and it's going to rise up. Just like when we walk outside with our clothes in a very dusty, windy environment, our clothes are going to get dirty. You're trying to wash your clothes. Of course, what's going to happen? All the dirt is going to come out. The water is going to be ugly. It's going to be dirty water. But we shouldn't be afraid to see dirty water. But we should continue to wash the clothes. Eventually, we will have clean water. So same thing when we have the difficulties we want to overcome, and we know it's so difficult to overcome. We have shortcomings, and we know it's not easy. Let's say you have a certain desire for a new car, new clothes, whatever it is, and you cannot stop yourself from doing so. You cannot stop yourself from going shopping. They cannot stop themselves from playing games because they have joy, and for them to stop, it's just so agonizing, suffering, painful. So the first is to recognize that, and at the beginning it's going to be a struggle to overcome. If he continues to tell himself, I need to overcome this, and I want to overcome this, and he will gain strength, right? Just like washing your clothes. At the beginning, the first wash, it's gonna be very dirty. But you don't stop there. You continue to add clean water, continue to wash your clothes. When you add clean water, is when you add the proper thoughts. This is not proper. This is proper. And I should focus on proper thoughts. And when you do that, you are adding pure, clean water to help wash away all the dirt. So we should not be afraid when things feel uneasy. When we feel uncomfortable, that we are changing ourselves, we are changing our substance, we're changing our subconsciousness. So what the Buddha is telling here is, if you're thinking about something, your mind's going to lean towards that and it's going to become a pattern. If you don't want to follow that pattern, then create a new pattern by thinking about it. Right? So that's what the Buddha is talking about here. So to move away from sensuality, ill will, and harmfulness. When the mind is leaning towards renunciation, non-ill will, and harmlessness, then the body is going to be unmuddled, mindful, and be at ease, undisturbed.